Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. This time we are watching Monkeys Are Cool. It's a very unique and novel name, Monkeys. Thank you so much for submitting this replay in your IS-7. This is the Tier 10 Soviet heavy tank. Frontally armored, almost with no comparison if you're able to hide the lower plate. The upper plate and the turret on this tank are simply incredible. I did watch, I think it was a kind of like a quick review or a highlight reel of the IS-7 that Wargaming produced maybe several months ago, showing I think it was 15 Waffenträger Alpha E-100s fully unloading on a hull down IS-7, and it took the full punishment from them. I guess that's 90 128mm shells with 276mm of penetration, simply unable to take out an IS-7. That's just how good the frontal armor on this thing is. And if you thought that the side or the rear armor were bad, well, the side armor has its troubles. There's a lovely part on the upper half of the tank here, which is spaced and angled behind the spacing. Underneath, I believe it's 150mm down the side above the tracks. So if you're able to shoot into the side of an IS-7, you want to hit this area here. But the IS-7 has to let you get his side in the first place. And with a great top speed and an okay traverse speed, that's not often easily done. The IS-7 is also equipped with 130mm, which performs a lot like the 128mm, I believe, that's on the E-75. It's got 490 alpha damage and I believe 250mm of penetration. It fires AP rounds, which will have 5 degrees of normalization, which will help you go through slightly armored surfaces as well. Now the gun takes a hell of a long time to aim, and it's not very accurate, which means that the IS-7 is best suited to maps like this. It's on Stalingrad, a close quarters city map where the IS-7 is in its environment, as it rips apart this IS-3 in 3 shots with a little bit of assistance from its allies. So 2,200 damage done while I was giving the intro. It's what the IS-7 is all about. As he continues to pick apart this German Tier 9 heavy tank, the E-75, and this E-50 really doesn't like him. He shot him so many times. But I guess his 220mm of penetration on his 105mm just simply can't compete with this very thick armor. Now the Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger bounces off him as well, who is using the 150mm. If that had gone in, that would have taken off a third of Monkey's hit points. Luckily, it bounced, and the E-50 must have bounced off him there 4 or 5 times. He bounces another shell from the Borsig. He must have bounced at least 5,000 damage so far, enough to kill his tank 2.5 times over. And now he's caught an E-100 with a Canadian flag on his side. Which reminds me that if I haven't already mentioned, Monkeys Are Cool is from the North American server. Now he's dueling with an E-100. His first bad shot of the game there. High into the spaced armor of the E-100. You have to get the angle flatter along the side, just like that, to be able to damage the side armor on the E-100 through the spaced covering. From here, an IS-7 is so low profile, but this E-100 simply can't get the gun depression to be able to shoot down on him. If you've ever driven an E-100, you'll know how frustrating this is. The IS-7 is completely safe. And even though it doesn't have the largest amount of gun depression, its low profile means that it can slam shell after shell after shell into the lower plate of the E-100. And there's nothing that the German Tier 10 heavy tank could do there. Even if he was to fire heat rounds with extra large penetration, The angled surface of the IS-7 could still pull off a bounce. Monkeys is now ripping apart this Pershing on the enemy team. And there's an AMX 1375 that seems to come to the Pershing's aid. It starts to shoot Monkeys in the back. Monkeys finishes off the Pershing. And the AMX 1375 has so far only been able to penetrate one shell on him out of his 6. Now he's reloading. Monkeys completely ignores him and focuses on the Borsig. Unfortunately for him, he misses that shot. Finally, the long aim time and inaccurate nature of the IS-7 is coming into play. The AMX tries to block for the Borsig. Amazing play there by the AMX in that random game. Frustrated that this behemoth is ripping apart his team. 7,500 damage done and 6 kills. Monkeys pushes the AMX up and shoots the FV215B183 in the side. The AMX still can't penetrate him, and Monkeys is trying to avoid taking as much damage as he possibly can from the FV. He's had enough of the shenanigans of Pierre, the AMX 1375 driver, to his side, finally finishes him off and turns his attention back to the Tier 10 British tank destroyer. Puts another shot into the lower plate and figures out now it's time to pull back. I've put 2 into him, he must be reloading now. Bam! He hits the T-54E1. That allows Monkeys a chance to finish him off. Now the AMX is on a smidgen of health. Finishes off the T-54E1. But Monkeys gets him as well for only taking 1 shot. What an absolutely crazy game. Monkeys is now down to 2 APCR shells and 3 high explosive shells. He has had to carry this game so hard. What can he do against this Tier 8 Japanese medium tank? The first one goes into his side. Oh no, Monkeys is stuck with an E3 behind him. Oh no, he's down to 60 hit points now. He's focusing on the STA-1. Finishes him off. It gets round the corner now to avoid the E3. Faster, faster, faster. Oh no. Oh my word, the E3 misses his shot. Monkeys puts his first one in. He's only got 2 HE shells remaining, tracking the E3 in place. Lo and behold, his last remaining ally, a T-71, a Tier 7 American light tank, comes to his aid. That second HE shell only tracks the E3, not doing any damage to him, but now the T-71 starts to unload on the E3 side. Monkeys comes around the corner. Disaster! Strikes as he is shot in the side of his front plate, just to show you the angle on that. Fair enough, the IS-7 has got a fantastic pike nose designed for angling and bouncing frontally, but when you have to come around the corner to the side, you expose it, make it very flat, have an easy penetration for the enemy Tier 10 American tank destroyer. Monkeys did 10,700 damage there and got 10 kills. And now he's passed the baton to this T-71 driver. It's up to you, T-71. What's his best plan here? Well, firstly, the T-71 needs to get away from the T-110E3. He's got 2 options. One, to get the side or the rear of the T-110E3, which is quite easily done. If you can catch it in the open, the T-71 would easily be able to run rings around it. A lot like happened to me on a live stream the other day. An AMX 1375 managed to kill my T-110E3 pretty much from full health with the aid of a few allies. Simply because without the turret that you have on the T-110E4 as an example, you can't quickly re-engage your targets. The T-71 sets up, ready to run away by the looks of it. I guess he thinks that the T-110E3 is going to come down one of these allies to engage him. If he does that, then he's going to have to run away as quickly as he can, and so he's making the sensible move. I'm going to speed up the gameplay just a little bit here. So right now, I guess the T-71 doesn't want to cap because he thinks that the T-110E3 might be looking down one of these alleyways. But we find out now where the T-110E3 actually was, and that is inside the cap circle. Take it away, Mr. T-71. How are you going to handle this situation? Spots the T-123. Hits him in the side, damaging him and resetting the cap. Great work there. And now the T-123 is facing him with his back up against a wall. So our T-71 is going to do the right thing, and that's try and get the side of the T-123 from a different angle. This must be very frustrating for the T-123 driver, as the T-71 can dictate the pace of the combat, and the T-123 did the right move by going to the cap circle, because he's never going to be able to catch a T-71 by driving around unless the T-71 drives very badly. So really, winning by cap, or at least forcing the T-71 to come and defend, is his only chance of winning the game. It's getting very tense as the T-71 pulls in to the alleyway and tries to get the flank of the E3 yet again. Stalingrad's cap circle is very open. There are some opportunities to hide, for example behind this building here, but more or less you're easily flanked. T-71 puts round after round after round into the side of the T-110E3. And now decides to pull back. The T-110E3 misses another shot on a sitter of a target, the T-71 there. So good play by the T-71. Putting the E3 down to 816 hit points. Now well within the range of being taken out in a single magazine by the Tier 7 American light tank. I guess this guy's reloading now. How's he going to handle the rest of this situation? Spots the E3 in the side. He's managed to close the distance to the building. He's trying to bait a shot. Oh no! What a disaster. As he sticks his butt out a little bit too far, allowing the T-110E3 to put a shot into him and to win the game for his team. So well played to this T-110E3 driver for dealing with a tricky situation and managing to come through with it. He just waited and waited and waited for his opportunity. The AMX gave it to him with that juicy little French backside, taking him out of the game. So monkeys are cool. Thank you so much for sending me this replay. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And for me, this was the highlight of the game. When you simply ignored this 1375 driver for the longest of time, trapped him in position, pushed him up this pile of rubble, and then finished him off in style. So what an absolute heartbreak for Monkeys Are Cool in the IS-7 here. Unsurprisingly, he got a cool-headed medal for surviving at least 10 ricochets in a row, the high caliber, and the Pools medal. And what a high caliber it was, 10,734 damage done. Hitting every shot that he fired except for one, and penetrating the vast majority of those. I don't think I've ever seen an IS-7 run out of ammunition. But then again, I don't think I've seen an IS-7 do over 10,500 damage very often at all. This Soviet behemoth received 33 hits that game, blocking over 10,000 potential damage. Monkeys certainly also made a very cool profit this game of over 60,000 credits. Thank you so much for sending me this replay. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And hopefully you guys did as well. If you did, please consider giving the video a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to see another example of why the IS-7 is as strong as a bear, then simply click up here and you can go through to Kassensip, rocking a fantastic game in his IS-7. And let me know in the comments down below what is your favorite way of playing the IS-7. Do you like base hugging? Do you like rushing into position using the great top speed limit on this tank, or do you like simply going hull down and using the incredible armor on it to pick apart your opponents? But anyway guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic and hopefully I'll see you soon.